Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabella. I'm an orphan digital content creator here on YouTube, and welcome to my little space. Today's video is actually one I have been wanting to film for like the longest time now, and I just keep putting it off because I don't know, it's not really my style of videos, at least on my channel, but I do love these kind of videos and they're always so inspiring to me, so I was like, why not just film one? So this is basically my list of healthy habits that I want to bring into 2025, and also what I've kind of been doing since 2024 to try and be more healthy in all aspects of my health, not only just physical, mental, emotional, but also spiritual, financial, etc. So these are the habits I've been trying to implement into my daily life and also make more, I guess, normal to me, because I remember when I first started these out, they definitely felt annoying to have to remember to do. One thing I will say is when you are implementing habits, I would recommend either habit stacking, so doing them with other habits you already have, like brushing your teeth or making your bed. But also, if that doesn't work out for you, because I completely understand that, it is to implement at least a habit once a month or once a week, and then just slowly building onto that. Bible reading and spiritual connections, so learning to be more, I guess, focused on the spiritual side of things, because I will be honest, I did kind of fall off this during high school. It wasn't really one of my main focuses, and in university I want to really try and get back to that kind of stuff, because I feel like I really just disconnected with everything, and also I was stressing a lot more, so it was kind of impacting my mental health because I wasn't really giving myself the time that I needed to obviously think, but also to have a conversation with myself reflectively to know what I really needed. In the case of this one, this was the habit that I struggled with the most. So Bible reading, I try to read the Bible as much as I can, or at least a little bit of it each day. I will be honest, I have been slacking a little bit on this. It is really hard for me to build this habit. I don't know why it always has been the case. I will read a little bit and I'll just kind of forget about it for a couple weeks, go back into it, do it for like 2 days or something, fall out of that habit again. So for me, I feel like I need a more concrete kind of way to implement this habit. Recently I've been reading the daily verses, and I have found that to be the best case for me to do the spiritual connection part and also the Bible reading, because every now and then I will read a verse that I really enjoy or really connect with, and then that'll make me want to read the Bible. However, there are some days when I just don't feel like it, but I have made it kind of a goal to always read the Bible verse of the day. I feel like a lot of people use this app. It's called the Holy Bible by YouVersion. It's also a website that you can use. That's the Bible app I use, and it's been working out really well, and they have like a streak kind of counter, and seeing the number go up each day has started to motivate me a little bit. So I will say this habit is coming along a lot better and smoother than it was in 2024, but it definitely still has a lot of work, and this is one of the areas of my life that I not necessarily want to focus on improving, but more so want to try and continually make a stronger part of my day-to-day life, because I will be honest, this is like something that is pushed all the way to the back of my mind and I don't really want to be. So I'm trying to get back into this Bible reading habit and all of that stuff. So hopefully 2025 is the year we finally nail this habit and get it basically a part of daily life. Drinking more water. I feel like this one is a hit or miss sometimes. For me, I love drinking water, but it's also one of the ways I procrastinate on doing any task. It's kind of counterintuitive sometimes because I want to be focused on my health. I want to drink more water, because there are days when I definitely do not drink water and I will feel it the next day. I will either have like a sore throat, I'll feel really sick and dizzy and all of that, and it's just annoying because I know I should be drinking more water, but then if I can't focus on a task because I'm procrastinating by drinking water, it also frustrates me. So I always have to keep my water bottle outside of my room, or like not bring my bottle with me if I have to do something. So it's like I need to find a better balance for this, to be completely fair. But drinking more water is a habit that's pretty common, very normal for a lot of people to obviously do. I will say I am trying to limit how much I go and buy drinks, particularly like that random iced chocolate obsession I started during my innovation class, which that vlog is coming. But I had such a bad obsession with iced chocolate drinks during that class, so I feel like I definitely need to get back into the habit of drinking more water, because I did really well in this last year, and so far 2025 has been not so good. And I used to track how much water I drink, and I found out it was kind of like not so good. It was good when I was really bad at drinking water, so I would track it every now and then, but I don't track it frequently. I think the last time I tracked my water intake was like in 2021 or 2022, and that was like during my assessment period time around October, when I don't drink water. Kind of a useful tool to get me back into the habit, but I feel like in the long term it might not be the healthiest habit. Focusing less on restrictions when eating but understanding health. There are so many things going on in social media these days about like what is considered healthy and all of that, and I feel like everyone has to come to a subjective kind of understanding of what health really means. For me in 2024, I really like focused in on what health was to me, and that wasn't obviously limiting myself to any of the cravings I wanted. It was more like understanding moderation, understanding exercises that would work for me, and what was healthy and beneficial to me, especially because I have issues with my ankle every now and then. It happened during running once, and it was like kind of an on and off injury, and it's just been so frustrating since, because sometimes I will want to do a 5k run but I can't because my ankle is hurting. And then every now and then, if you run a lot, you will know that sometimes your knee will have like these weird cracks or something. It is so annoying when that happens. So I've been trying to change up my workout routine to fit myself more on the day, but also to know what is healthy for me without overexerting my body to do something that it probably shouldn't be doing at the time. So I've been trying to get back into yoga. I've been trying to do more stretching. I've also been trying to alter my workouts rather than just running a lot. I've tried to implement more strength training and like core exercises and all of that, because that helps with cardio performance. And then I've started to slowly migrate away from cardio only, and right now in the month of January I'm doing a lot of dance cardio exercises. It's kind of like allowing me to exercise our muscles but also allowing me to still do what I love the most, which is running, because those dance cardio exercises, most of them do have a running element. As much as I love dance cardio, I do miss sometimes just going on a run to be completely fit, and that's okay. But right now, where I am in life, I need to understand what will work for me and also what is healthiest for my body, because I don't want to end up hurting myself at a very young age and having to live with the consequences of that, because that is a lot scarier than just injuring myself. The next one kind of goes hand in hand, and that is working out less but more intentionally. Before, I would be a very time focused kind of person. I would say I want to work out for 3 hours today or an hour today and all of that kind of stuff. So that was my original approach to exercise and all of that, and this was many years ago now. We're talking like before this decade of time, so that is insane to me. And I will be honest, while that did help motivate me, towards the end and when I started my senior years of high school in 2022, it definitely wasn't healthy, and it was no longer, I guess, manageable to implement into my routine anymore. So learning in 2024 particularly that working out less but more intentionally with what exercises I was doing, what kind of workout I wanted to focus on each session, this allowed me to really enjoy the workout more. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm going to push myself for 3 hours because I can do that. It was more like, I want to do this workout, I want to do this many reps, I want to do this or that, and my focus is to do this. And I will either target a specific muscle group, I will either try and hit like a kilometer goal or something, and I would kind of just work from there. It was less about how long I spent each day on the workout, and it became more about why I want to do this workout. Now, most of this, at the end of the day, I work out not for a certain like body goal or like calorie goal or something. I feel like calorie goal sounds so weird because in Australia we call them kilojoules, but I feel like if I say that, no one's gonna understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're basically calorie goals, and I never counted those. I never really cared enough to do that, so it wasn't really like that being my main drive of focus. But I will definitely say that working out more intentionally allowed me to really understand what I was like, starting to understand why I was working out. Not only was it helping me have a better connection with my mental health, but also my physical health in a way that I was accepting what my body could do and how I was pushing myself, not completely insanely, but still pushing myself to do things that I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't continuously practice, work out with these exercises or do this and that to get to where I was at the present time. So I would definitely say working out more intentionally is definitely a goal and a habit that I want to keep doing in my life, because it was definitely one of the healthiest things I did change in my workout routine. So definitely keep that in mind if you are on your little fitness journey. So this one is probably hit or miss, but planning out my day intuitively, I will be honest, I am like the craziest planner in my friend group, and that also means I am the craziest person sometimes with goals. If you've seen it in my goal videos, you will know what I'm talking about right now. But I always try and implement at least something creative in my day if I can. I am such a creative person that I literally thrive on it, and if I don't have it, my mental health kind of like goes a bit downward spiraling here. And planning out my day was really important to me, especially during university, because I needed to know what I had to do and how much time I had in between to not only eat but also get a bit of a workout in, do my homework or tutorial questions, catch up with friends, maybe writing, a bunch of things basically. And planning out my day intuitively with what I want to do in each thing sometimes kind of got a bit intense, to be honest. Because of all those things, I try to squish into 1 hour. Sure, I could have lunch and catch up with my friends together, but it wasn't intentional. It was more like, I'm just doing this to mark something off my to-do list, you know? So planning out my day intuitively definitely is a habit I'm still working on, but I will definitely say so far in 2025 I have gotten a lot better at this. So now I'm not really just doing things for the sake of ticking them off my to-do list. I'm now doing them with more intention, more focus and more love, but I'm also trying to celebrate every accomplishment I'm doing. If you watched the 2025 goals video, you know what I'm talking about right now. I'm trying to make every little moment special and meaningful, and I'm trying to make it less of this is how much I can do in a day, and be as productive as I can and as efficient as possible. And while that is a good thing, yes, but at this stage of my life, I feel like with everyone obviously still in university, at least in my age group, I do have a lot of friends who are a lot older than me, and they're moving into different stages of their life where they're probably about to get married. Some of them are starting to have kids. It's like crazy, and that is definitely a scary thing to know that I'm only like 3 years away from all of this stuff possibly happening as well. Not saying that I'm probably going to get married young, but anyway, that's beside the point. So I'm trying to plan my day more intuitively, but also I'm trying to have more spontaneity in my day rather than having a rigid timeline that I used to follow all the time. So now in my gaps, I will have like periods where I'm like, okay, this is like a period for reflection, or this is a period for just wandering around in nature because it's beautiful and pretty and it's calming. So I'm trying to have more pockets of time where I'm not really doing anything and I'm just kind of slowing down. Hobbies, and particularly for me, my healthy habit in terms of hobbies is my creative hobbies. So if you've watched any of my goal videos, you will know that I talked about how I technically took an unexpected hiatus of my social medias, and I just didn't post for like 4 months or something last year. And that was basically because I started to fall out of love with my creativity. I still love creating in the background, but it felt like I was forcing myself to do it on days when I obviously needed the rest, and I didn't give myself that rest because I want to just keep going, keep pushing forward and keep trying to reach my dream. And at the end of the day, if you have a dream, you're going to reach it if you put in the work. No matter how slow you go, no matter how fast you move, your dream will come to you at the right time, and you will get there when you need to get there. So for me, taking that unexpected break was probably the best thing I could have done for myself, because not only did it help me find my passion and love again for creating happily without compromising my mental health, but also it allowed me to appreciate the little things in life, such as like slowing down to create new poems, thinking of new poems in a different like format. It was just so much more enjoyable. And while I did miss obviously sharing a bunch of things with you guys, with my friends, it was so needed for me, not only mentally but also physically, because it allowed me to have rest. And that was the most important thing at the end of the day. Finding creative hobbies particularly, I would say, wasn't the hardest thing for me. It was more like learning to understand that hobbies will always be there for you, but they shouldn't be the thing that drains you. They should be the thing that fills you and also refreshes you after a very long day. So that's kind of the takeaway from this habit I've learned. Also, in terms of hobbies, you can also do other ones. Like if you're more like the kinetic kind of hobbies, or the, I guess, musical talented side, you could do that completely as well. It's just about finding hobbies and why you want to do them, and making sure you're doing them for yourself and not really for anyone else. So the next one is a long-term kind of thing, and you definitely need practice at this. I will say I'm still practicing this every day as much as I can, and that is to ignore other people's opinions and having a change in perspective. So I don't think I've actually talked about this a lot, but I obviously had a very, very chaotic experience with people obviously not believing in my creative dreams and all of that, saying I wasn't creative in general. So that really put me down, because obviously I want to be creative. I want to be an author. I want to write. I want to produce things that are basically from my heart and that I love, and I want to share them with other people. So if you know, my goal basically is to motivate other authors and creatives to follow their creative dreams, even if people are telling them no, even if people are doubting them, even if people are telling them this is like the dumbest thing they're ever going to do in their life, and that they shouldn't even proceed with it. This was so hard for me. I remember having this first come into complete view for me when I was in year 8, and that was in 2019. It is 2025 now, and only in 2024 did I finally learn to ignore other people's opinions. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it yet, because I'm definitely not. There are still times when people I thought were my closest friends who have literally told me I shouldn't be doing this. They tell me to go into another career, or they tell me that I should be better suited to this career, and they're basically doubting my abilities to do this. Yes, I published 2 books in 2024, but that means nothing to them. To them, it was basically just another thing I could use as a bragging right to say I can do this, but also it's not the right thing for me. They always try to say that they're better at me in certain things, and yeah, maybe they are, because I don't have the same passions as you, and that's completely fine. But ignoring other people's opinions for things that I wanted to do, and obviously just learning to implement that in my daily life, learning to change my perspective on what people were saying to me, was so crucial to not only building up my mental health, my resilience, but also my emotional health. Because let's be honest, words hurt, actions hurt, and these things piling up together definitely do not lead to happiness. So learning to ignore other people's opinions is something I definitely want to encourage you to do, and also try and work on each day. In terms of like changing perspective, I've had people tell me that, oh my gosh, my writing is trash, obviously aggressive way. So I can either accept that as it is, or I can just be like, thank you, but at the end of the day, I'm writing for myself, not for you. And that is one of the biggest things I've always tried to stick to, and I'm always going to publish books that I want to write, that I want to read, that I want for myself first, because I'm never going to let anyone have the ability to put me down for something I wanted to do, for something I've been working so hard for in my entire life just to be able to do. So I've always tried to change perspective on the situation at hand, and yeah, it's hard. I won't basically like dampen that fact, but it gets easier with practice, like anything in life. So learning to ignore other people's opinions particularly is one of the healthiest things you can do for your mental health, but also your emotional health, and it will make you feel so much lighter at the end of the day. So that is something I would definitely encourage you guys to do. If you're going to take anything away from this video, I would definitely say this is one of them. We've been doing in quite a few videos, any of them in 2024, and that is writing letters to my future self. I only started doing this when I was 14, about to turn 15. It has literally stuck with me this entire time. It has been basically such a fun way. I used to only do this on my birthday, and I will write a letter to myself for my next year's self to open on my birthday, and eventually I started moving towards more monthly kind of letters, and then eventually more weekly letters, but weekly got a bit too much, so I started doing only monthly. And every month, like the week before, I will write a letter to myself for the month coming ahead, and then I will read it. on the first or kind of earliest days of the month. It has been so helpful because like you're reading this from your past self who literally has no idea how far you're going to come in this month, how far you're going to come at the end of the month. It is insane. Like, so much can happen in a day, but also so much can happen in a week in the span of you writing this letter. And then you're basically giving your future self advice for the entire month. So it's been so helpful for me, and I have definitely tried to encourage more people to do this. It is one of my favorite things to do. And yeah, sometimes it can be silly, I'll be honest, but at the end of the day, if you're happy, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And no one else is going to see these letters. It's literally just for you. Sure, every now and then I will post about these letters that I wrote to myself in videos, but that's okay with me. I'm choosing to do this, but you don't have to. And that's fine. But writing letters to my future self has been one of my favorite things to do, and it's such a good habit because it's almost like a self-journaling kind of thing, but you're also giving yourself advice, but you're not dwelling on so many of the hard things in life as well. So it's kind of just a really happy little time. Moving away from number goals and focusing more on the process. Now, this can be taken in any way you want. I used to set a lot of number goals, let's be completely fair. Before I started this channel, I was definitely one of those kind of girls who would be like, I want to reach this many steps, I want to do this many workouts, I want to work out for this many hours a day. I was that kind of girl. I was in my crazy fitness era. I have been in my fitness era for years now, and I will say I used to set a lot of number goals for that, and it wasn't healthy. Okay, let's be completely fair. Like literally going to work out for 6 hours a day. I remember setting that goal once. I don't know what it was in my brain, but I knew when I set that goal, I was determined to hit it. And I only worked out for 3 hours that day. So when I didn't hit that 6 hour goal, I was so mad. I was so upset with myself. I felt like I failed myself. And obviously, that is probably unhealthy, to be completely fair. Like working out multiple times a day and also making it that long. I remember I used to want to work for an entire month, 2 workouts a day, but they had to be like 1 hour something long. I remember doing that and basically was going to total up 3 hours at the end of the day, and I was like, this is not healthy. Like there was no rest days whatsoever. So please don't do what I did. I have learned from my mistakes since then. But moving away from number goals, particularly in my fitness journey, has been so beneficial for me and so much healthier. Obviously, as I told you about earlier, the working out more intentionally and also just focusing less on restrictions and allowing myself to be happier and understanding what health actually is to me. That has been seriously a long time coming at this point, but it's good to finally learn these lessons. And I hate how people can tell you that like you can be told a lesson, but sometimes you can't learn the lesson until you actually live through it. And I wouldn't say I was one of those people in my fitness kind of journey, but I would say that I had people telling me that I did restrict myself a lot, and I did not really realize that until I guess 2024, when everything just like hit me and I was like, this is no longer going to work out. So moving away from number goals in fitness was definitely one of the easiest things to do because it was hard at first. I wasn't used to having more freedom, I suppose you could say, but once I kind of got into it and like I started understanding what was the best way to go about it, it was so much easier and so much more fun. It made working out enjoyable. Not that it wasn't before, because I got to, you know, say I hit a goal, but if I didn't feel like my body was strong enough to work out for like an hour or 3 hours a day, I could do an intense 15-minute workout and I'll be fine. I'll be happy with it because I still worked out at the end of the day. I remember hearing this quote, and I still tell myself this quote every time: the only bad workout that you can ever have is the one where you do not even work out. And that has stuck with me for so long because it's so true. And I used to beat myself up for obviously not hitting the amount of hours or hitting this kilometer goal or anything like that. And now that I obviously have a better understanding of health and all of that, I would say I feel a lot more content whenever I do a workout, and I feel a lot more calm about it because I'm not beating myself up for something that I obviously did do but I wasn't just satisfied with. And in terms of focusing more on the process, this one I definitely realized a lot more when I was writing my books. Obviously, once you start tracking words, particularly for draft 2 and 3 when you're revising, it's really complicated to track that. So focusing on the process, whether that be like tracking how many hours you spent working on something or how many minutes you spent writing, because I definitely do that a lot. It is so much more enjoyable and helps me stay motivated because I am still doing something. It's just not being tracked as something. You know, it's not like the word count's going up or down. So it's a lot more entertaining and motivating for me as a writer to focus on time goals and the process itself rather than just trying to hit certain word count goals. And other words, obviously focusing on the process, particularly for my education, I'm trying to really implement this in, is to enjoy each class. Sometimes you will get stressed. That is inevitable. We need stress in our life to function as humans. But having too much stress, especially if you take a lot of classes that you don't love, yeah, it can get a bit overwhelming. So I'm trying to enjoy the process of taking these classes, doing the work, being in the class with my friends and doing lectures and all of this stuff, and just really trying to slow it down to make it more entertaining and more fun for myself. Also, in terms of assessments, this has been a lifesaver for me. I used to have to basically bribe myself to get an assignment done, and sometimes I still have to. I'll be completely fair, I still do it, but also I've learned to enjoy the process more. I remember having this calc assignment. So calculus is one of my least favorite mathematical topics, and at first I was thinking of bribing myself with this super expensive perfume because, you know, we really needed to get my motivation here going. When I started taking that assignment and like doing the assignment and like going through it, I loved it so much that I didn't even want the perfume at the end of the day. Yes, I still did buy myself something just to congratulate myself for completing it, and I completely understand if that's super extra to you guys, but it's the little things that count. And technically I didn't even want the gift I did end up getting for myself. I still have it, but it's just a nice reminder sometimes that you don't need the end result to be your happiness, because sometimes it's the process along the way that is what truly means more to you and is more meaningful at the end of the day. And I still remember that assessment so near and dear to my heart. We didn't get a perfect score. Actually, no, we did. I still remember that assignment and it was literally one of my most favorite assignments, not because we got the perfect mark, because at the end of the day I didn't care about that anymore. I only was really happy because it was so fun and it was so enjoyable to do, and I made so many friends along the way. Like, they were stressed about it, but not in the stress that it was like, oh my goodness, we don't know what's going on. It was more like in the stress of, we're doing this but we don't want to do it, and it's just piling up with all the other assessments, but it's so much more calming to do than all the other assessments. And finally, because we keep getting interrupted, so I need to speed this along, learning to appreciate each moment. Now, this was something I definitely focused more on in 2024. It has been a habit I am still implementing, I'm still trying to focus on, and basically learning to appreciate each moment is like celebrating all your accomplishments and little wins. So I try to make every moment I kind of have meaningful. So obviously when I'm filming, I get to have like a parasocial connection, and it's fun and entertaining for me. When I'm writing, I'm doing it for myself. I'm allowing my creativity to ignite all of that. When I'm with my friends, obviously that can be an array of emotions. When I'm obviously going to sleep, I value the rest that I get, and I'm privileged enough to get, because there are some people who are unable to sleep, and that is so heartbreaking to me. And just like being thankful for everything I have in life, I do understand there are people who are less privileged than me, and it breaks my heart that this does exist. I literally study economics. I have seen the effects of all these changes and all of these consequences, and it is intense to imagine that people actually go through this day in and day out. So learning to appreciate everything, even if it's really dumb, like having clean water, that is so important. And like literally there are people out there drinking contaminated water as we speak. Really sad, and it's just like not fair on humanity. So learn to appreciate not only each moment you have with people in your life, even if they can be bad. Like, there are experiences that I do not want to remember, but if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be the person I am today, let alone where I am today. If those people that I thought were my friends didn't tell me I wasn't smart enough to be creative, I wouldn't have this creative business that I have literally built and just taught myself that it's not you that's the problem, it's not them that's the problem either. It's literally the fact that you are the only person going to stop yourself from reaching your dreams. And at the end of the day, I just want to always focus on making myself happy, and that is really what that matters, because I'm the only person I'm going to have at the end of the day. Whether or not my partner stays with me for the rest of their life is not something I can control. Whether I stay with someone for the rest of my life isn't something I can control. People die at the end of the day, and as sad as this video is turning out, it's the truth. It is reality. We have to accept it. So I always want to make sure that I'm happy, that I'm doing things for myself, and learning to appreciate every moment that I have on this planet, because it is precious. But anyway, we're going to leave the video here. I hope you guys picked up some interesting healthy habits for 2025 and also moving further into life. This was definitely a chatty video and a very long one that I'm going to question myself when I edit later. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one very, very soon. Stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll catch you later. Bye!
Drown me in the lights. I need a remedy.